There was a time when Lamar Jackson wasn't just a quarterback, he was a revolution, a force of nature in shoulder pads.
Seemingly every week. Here's a home run shot for Bateman. Touchdown Ravens.
The kind of player who didn't break plays, he rewrote the rules they were built on. Defensive coordinators had no blueprint. Analysts ran out of adjectives. And fans just watched, jaws open, as the most electrifying man in football danced his way to an MVP in only his second season. He was 23 years old and already a problem no one had a solution for. The future felt inevitable, but that was 5 years ago. And inevitability, it turns out, has a shelf life. Now Lamar Jackson is 28, still explosive, still brilliant, still one of the most uniquely gifted quarterbacks to ever lace up cleats. But as the years stack up, so do the questions. Where's the Super Bowl appearance? Why do the Ravens always flame out late? And how long until generational talent turns into unfulfilled potential? Baltimore hasn't exactly made it easy for him. There have been injuries, coaching changes, missed opportunities, and postseason meltdowns. But this offseason, that changed. This time, the Ravens went all in. They brought in former All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to line up opposite Zay Flowers. They secured lockdown cornerback Jair Alexander to tighten a defense already dripping with talent. They doubled down on winning now. The message was clear. Lamar has the tools. He has the team. No more excuses. And Lamar? He's changed too. For years, critics questioned his leadership. He wasn't vocal enough, they said. Too reserved, too internal. But that's shifting.
I talk to him one-on-one, but certain things I'm seeing, I gotta voice it more. I gotta voice my opinion more to those guys.
As you now are approaching, the next stages of your career, right? At this point, it's Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the big conversation for you. I mean, how close do you feel you are to getting to that stage of completion?
We're extremely close. As I've been getting older in the league, like I said, my mindset has been different and the game has gotten a lot easier for me.
Lamar is honest, grounded. He says he's not the rah-rah type. No motivational speeches, no loud locker room dominance. But the game is teaching him something different. Now I talk to guys one-on-one, he says. But certain things I'm seeing, I've got to voice it more. That's evolution. That's what leadership looks like after the highlight reels. Because the Ravens didn't just upgrade, they loaded up. They brought in DeAndre Hopkins for big plays and Jair Alexander to lock down the back end. This team isn't flirting with contention, they're announcing it. They want it now. And Lamar? He's stepping into a new role. Not just MVP, but voice of the franchise. But talent means little when you falter in January.
Now you get to study yourself fully, and you'll really be able to shore up some of the details of the negative stuff and strengthen the positives.
3rd and 3, and this will probably end it. We got a flag. Hold on a minute. It's going to put a highlight together for us. She's out of bounds with 7 seconds. There is a flag. He just ripped off a run of about 40 yards.
Recent years have crumbled under pressure. Zay Flowers' fumble, Mark Andrews dropping a would-be touchdown, untimely miscues that rewrote seasons. And slowly, the word starts to creep in across headlines and analysis. Failure. If they continue not to finish, says Kimberly A. Martin, it is a failure. Because they literally have the best roster. They should win, and every year they find a way to lose. Still, Lamar believes, and he isn't alone.
I don't even think that's the issue in Baltimore. It's just finish. And if they continue not to finish, it would be a failure because they literally have the best roster. They should win it. And each year they figure out a way how to lose.
It's not going to change anything, not one iota for me. I mean, if Baltimore Ravens don't get to the Super Bowl, we're going to be basically saying the same thing that we said last year, the year prior to that. Lamar Jackson is 28 years old.
When Lamar says, "The game has gotten easier for me," there's weight in that statement. It's not cockiness, it's clarity. He's no longer trying to prove he belongs. He knows who he is. He's not chasing the league anymore, he's trying to conquer it. But in the AFC, two paths diverge. On paper, the Ravens are ferocious. Deeper defense, stacked offense, Lamar at the helm. But division rivals aren't easy. Joe Burrow's Bengals, steady Browns, surging Steelers, each a thorn in the path. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Bills look comfortable, Weaker division, favorable schedule, soft travel. It's a strategic head-to-head for who's best positioned. Damian Woody weighs in. I think Baltimore has the better team, he says. But Josh is in a better position. And that context matters. How many rings are forged by talent and how many by timing?
Which is they failed to achieve the thing that we expect them to achieve.
Absolutely. I've always said with Baltimore, it's not complicated what's going on with Baltimore. Literally, play the way you play in the regular season in the postseason.
So why don't they? Why, as somebody who's won a Super Bowl, why don't they?
Sometimes, the moments get too big for guys. I mean, when you watch the Baltimore Ravens, they do a lot of uncharacteristic things.
There's a growing fear that the Ravens are becoming that team, the one that dominates from September to December, only to unravel when it matters most. And that kind of identity, it doesn't stay in the locker room. It infects the fan base. It creeps into media coverage. It changes how players view themselves. And eventually it changes how we view a player's legacy. Because talent isn't legacy. Wins are. And in this era of quarterback royalty, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, even now CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson is the only one left without a Super Bowl trip. Some believe Lamar Jackson's struggles to reach the Super Bowl aren't about talent or effort, they're about timing. He's playing during the reign of Patrick Mahomes, a quarterback already being etched into history alongside the greatest of all time. For Lamar, every postseason run must pass through a man who feels more like a dynasty than a rival. Mahomes is Jordan in cleats. That's not just a roadblock, it's a mountain. And just beside him, Josh Allen is facing the same uphill climb. Both have MVP-level arms, game-changing legs, and highlight reels that dazzle crowds every Sunday. But both remain empty-handed when it comes to rings. This era isn't just defined by excellence, it's defined by competition on a level we rarely see. Mahomes, with multiple rings and MVPs, casts a long shadow. Allen and Lamar, they're racing not just against opponents, but against legacy. Only one of them, if either, may ever reach the summit. The question now isn't just who's better, it's who runs out of time first. So who's going to do it first? Each year the Ravens fall short, the margin narrows. In 2023, they were one Zay Flowers fumble away from changing everything. In 2024, they had one of the best rosters in football, elite defense, explosive offense, a red-hot Lamar, and still, it ended the same way, painfully, early, before it should have. There are echoes of Dan Marino here, a quarterback so brilliant, so early, that everyone assumed multiple Super Bowls were inevitable. He went to one in his second season, and never returned. The league doesn't wait. It doesn't reward potential. It buries it. And as each postseason passes Lamar by, the fear is that he's trending toward a legacy that feels incomplete. And yet, we still believe. Because when Lamar Jackson plays football, something changes. The speed, the swagger, the improvisation. He makes the impossible look routine. And there's a part of every fan, Ravens or not, that wants to see him lift that trophy. That wants to see the magic end with rings, not regrets. But the window isn't endless. The NFL is unforgiving. Rosters shift, coaches leave, injuries pile up. The Ravens have the pieces now, but they won't forever. And if this year doesn't end in confetti, the questions will only grow louder. This isn't just another season. It's the season. The one that could elevate Lamar Jackson from elite to eternal, from MVP to champion. The one that finally answers the only question left about one of the most gifted quarterbacks we've ever seen. Can he win it all? Time will tell. But time is running out.